Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another portrait. Today's portrait is Grumpy Kid. That's what we're doing today in a monochrome style. Now we're going to be doing this in a different paint today. I picked up a paint yesterday on my travels. I've picked up an FW Ink Sepia. So we're going to do this one in a sepia tone. Just one colour today on this. We did this one yesterday on a step-by-step and I took you through. I'm going to do the same today, but I'm going to add more into it. So I'm going to tell you a lot more along the process as we go along. We're going to use some different techniques as well, different shield techniques. And what I'm going to do for a start is show you how you get your image across to your paper. Now we're going to be using a projector. Got one here. I'll leave a link in the description to this one because I think it's really good for the price. This is an LED projector. It's 1080p. I think it's up to 4K this is. Need to see the specs, but really good. The reason why I like this is you can plug your laptop into it, HDMI lead into it, you can Bluetooth across to it, you can use memory card in the back of it, and also because I've got a tablet, you can mirror your tablet or your Android phone or your iPhone to it. So that's how I do this. I'll set the projector up, blow the image up on the piece of paper, what you're going to see in a minute, and that just comes straight from the tablet, and then I can pinch and pull and blow it up and zoom in and zoom out with the tablet. So it's just a nice easy way of transferring your image across to your paper. There are other ways of doing this. If you've got a printer where you can print out a picture like this, you could print your reference picture out, get a product called trace down that you would put behind your printout, and then you pencil round your image, and then when you move your reference picture away, the trace down's left a carbon print of your image on the paper. So you can do it that way, but I find projector dead easy. Just plug it in and away you go. It's a lot quicker getting your images across. Other things we're going to be using today are some different shields. I'm going to make some shields as well. I'm going to show you how to do that. When we project up, I'm going to put another piece of card in front. So I'll just project the Grumpy Kid up first, then I'll move her away, put another piece of paper on the easel with the projector still set up, and then just do some key points that I need, like probably the shape around the hair or around the jaw, pencil them on, and then just chop them out with a scalpel, and then you've got that correct shield to hold up against your artwork and spray against. So dead simple. It's not complicated, guys. So enjoy the video. I will move you in closer and we will set the projector up, and I'll just show you a little bit on how you sort of project it. It's going to go a little bit dark, but I'll talk you through on what I'm doing as a project. I'll just give you a minute's worth of that, and then we can crack on with the portrait. Right guys, we've got the projector turned on, as you can see. So if you sort of stand in front of it, you're blocking the image. So what you do is you can pinch and pull. This is what I mean by mirroring your image. So you can blow that up to what size you want. We're going to go with about that size, and then you can just sort of focus your projector a little bit more. So we've got the image on, and now all you have to do is pencil it on and work to your sort of opposite side, so you're not standing in the shadow and blocking the image. You sort of work round it and just pencil in round your image like that, and just draw in the key features on your image. So it's nice and simple to do. Will take you about, to do this will take you about 10 minutes, and then you can just go round. So I'll pencil this out, and then what I'll do is I'll get another piece of card. I've got a cut off piece of card, put this on, and I'll just do the same again. I'll do a bit round the hair, pencil round, pencil this piece out, pencil her face shape out, probably the tops of her shoulders, and then I can move this one away and chop this piece of card out to the shape of her, and then you've got your shields made. And you can do this with all your pieces of artwork. If you're struggling for like sort of shields, you can do this for your artwork. Now, we could do this as well. We could now put application tape on here, which is a paper transfer tape that you can draw on top of. You could cover this in application tape, pencil her out, peel the application tape off, and you could cut every single piece out. You could cut the eyes out, all the tight shapes where you need it really sharp. You could cut all them bits out, put them to one side, have her penciled in again, and then you can move your application tape and stick pieces on and spray, and then move them away, put another piece on and spray. So that's another way you can do it if you want really, really sharp pieces. But I'm going to work this with shields and just hold a shield up round her eye and do freehand like we did yesterday. I find that way a lot quicker, especially on something this sort of size. It's just nice and easy to work on something a bit bigger because you've got more room to airbrush on. You're not sort of, everything's not tight up detail. So I'll get this penciled out, I'll get some stencils cut, and then we'll move in and start painting. Right guys, we are ready to rock and roll. We've got the image lightly penciled out. The brush that we are using today is the new Harder and Steenbeck Evolution CR Plus 2024. This is the twin edition, so you've got two needle and nozzle setups in this box. You get the big cup and you get the smaller cup. You get the 0.28 and you get the 0.45 needle and nozzle. I'll leave a link in the description to this brush because I think it is brilliant, guys. It really is. If you're used to the new Evolution, the older Evolution, you're really going to like this one because the trigger and the response is, I think, is way better on this brush. So that's what we're using today. I've got some paint mixed up and we're just going to try and test it before we start. I always say test your paint mix before we start. Air pressure, we've got, same as yesterday, I've got 22 on the main line, and I can dial it in just here. So I can turn the air pressure off here, and then I can bring it in here. We'll be running around 5 or 6 psi, probably a little bit more. We're going to try this paint mix because I've mixed this with isopropanol and water. So I just want to see how it's going to spray on and that seems to be spraying really nice. Might go a little bit thinner. But it's always good to move to the side and test your brush before you start. Now work with the crown cap off. And as you can see, this brush gets seriously down on detail. I'm going to drop a few more drops of isopropanol in that. I'm going to thin it down a little bit more. Right guys, I've got the paint. I've just mixed a little bit more isopropyl in that, and that is working really well. I find if you get the right paint, when with this brush, if you get the paint consistency absolutely bang on, the trigger response in this, it just feels like you're pressing down. It really does. So we're good to go on that. It's atomizing really nice. This is low pressure and that's really soft. And that's what we're after. We want them soft atomization on this on low pressure. So we're good to go with the brush. Now, I did cut out some stencils. I cut her face out like that. So we've got that one with the eyes cut out. Looks a bit freaky. And I've also got the outer. I'm mainly going to be using the outer. I can hold this up when I do the hair or a little bit around the face. I can chop this up actually and just chop it into sections and just hold it up when I need it to use it. But we're going to start on the eyes first and get the reference up. And we're just going to go in and do some very light passes. And just start to work a bit of the colour in. Drop a little bit on that one. Dagger strokes, guys, bringing the trigger on, taking the trigger off very lightly. I've just put the heater on in the studio because it's really cold and I'm feeling a little bit cold, so I'm quite sort of shaky. And you'll notice that if you do, when you paint when you're cold, when you pick the airbrush up, I've got it now, when you hold metal and you put your finger on top of the trigger, the tip of your finger goes numb, and that's what I've got at the minute. So I'm just waiting for it to warm up a little bit in the studio. So just working a little bit of painting around these eyes. We'll get some shields on the ready. We'll just work both of these at the same time. Just take your time, keep your eye on your reference, and you'll be good to go. This is the beauty of using shields in your work. You can get them nice sharp edges and it just makes things pop. A little bit more around the bottom. Bottom of this eye, just going in nice and light. working the eyes in. A little bit of tip dry. Always check your tip dry. As I say, because you'll have a build up and then it will splatter, and then just go back to the side and do a little test with your paint. We're going to do a light pass like this, and then we will work it darker as we go along. Do a little bit of shading around here. Just working very light. It's probably hard picking up on that camera, but we're just working nice and light, working this piece in here. We'll drop the eyebrows in, just very, they're not really got any eyelash, sort of eyebrow hairs, it's just like a soft, fogged in, and then it's just a little bit darker in places. Same as this one. Gets a little bit darker to the top on the reference. So just work a pass in and then just go over again, just doing little sort of dagger strokes. My finger is numb because it's cold in here. I can't feel the tip of my finger on the brush, really weird. These little creases here. And this comes a little bit further up into this piece here we're working on now. So I'm just going in light. And drop a little bit around this hairline, coming down up into this hairline here. Just fog in a little bit around here and along this side here, down the opposite side. I'm just working back on this eye, just toning this in a bit here. A little bit darker here. Edge of the eye, just a little bit darker. And we can darken these eyebrows up now. This has gone a little bit darker here. We can put a little bit more tone in here in a minute. and on this crease. Working down this side, we've got a soft edge coming round. So nice and light, backing off with the trigger, backing off with the brush, sorry. So we're around about hand's distance away on this, coming round. Nice and light. Backing off with the brush. You've got this little crease in the bottom of the lip. Now, a good way of doing this is on the image that you see here, you can see at the bottom of her lip, it's dark. So I'd start on the dark spot and work away and flick out because you've got soft edges either side. So if you start on the dark spot and then just flick away from that, and that's how you can get that bit in. That will go darker. The nose, we can go in and do the nostril bit here. Opposite side. Need a bit of tip dry. I can just tell when it's tip dry. You always notice it when you're going up close. If you've got tip dry, you'll just see your spray pattern just start to break up slightly. A little bit under the nose. Coming up. Around this edge. And we've got a crease at the side of this nose, so I can just drop the stencil there. Have a little spray off that. Coming round that nostril there. Got that little edge. Round. A little bit over the nose. A little bit in here. Bottom of the nose, a little bit there. Shadow coming this side. Little line coming down here. Go darker on that. Do another pass in here, and then you can just go round and just start working working it darker, going back over. And that's the beauty of working with like one colour. In like a transparent, you can just keep working it and going over and just toning it down. Right, we'll drop onto the lips. We could use the shield for these. Drop a little bit on there. Nice and light. Working along. Any of the lines we can, any pencil lines that are left over, we can just nib them out. Bit more there, a bit darker here, a little bit around the nose. A little bit darker under the nose here. Back in on this eye. And this one. I'm going to go a little bit darker on this. In here. Just a little bit darker under that. We'll start dropping the eyebrows in a little bit darker. Little dagger strokes. Flicking the trigger. Same this side. That crease coming down here is a little bit more. Under here. Same this side. Very light one here. Right, we've got that sort of bit in there. We're going to just work this bottom part of the jaw in. Now I'm going to get the shield for this. And just hold this up and just buzz a bit of paint in the bottom. like that, and then just come off that and work it down, that shadow. Hold the shield up just to keep that part of the top clean. Like that. A little bit here. A bit darker there. A little bit here. I'm just sort of holding the shield away slightly, just to get a little tighter transition on that. It needs to go a little bit more here. Coming up into this, darker in here. This needs to come out more. So drop your comments, guys. Tell me what your thoughts are if you're enjoying these videos. Ones where I'm sort of doing the live airbrushing and talking you through it. We're going to move over to the ear. Drop a bit of paint in here. Let's have a little zoom in on that. Shield. Bit over the top. Just hold that. Freehand this little earring in, it's sort of very blurry on the picture. Just do a little bit on that area coming up. So that's that side in. We will move on to the other ear. That's probably not picking that up on the screen, might be. That probably may look clear to you, but this is very blurry when I'm looking at this on the tablet screen. It's not very sharp. Hold the shield up, just puff a bit of paint in. Just tone that back. That'll do for that pass. Alright, we'll work on the top quite quick because this is sort of like a white top. We can get a lot of this in sort of freehand. A couple of shields, just pop a bit of paint in. Need a tip dry. That crease in there. A little bit round the edge of this. Shield just to get this edge popped up a bit. Onto this side. We'll go a little bit darker on this in a minute. Just a very faint line there. On there. Just flicking the brush out for this bit, these little creases. Back onto the face, just bring this in a bit here. Right, we can now move up to parts of the hair, but before we're going to do that, I'm just going to do some erasing on this and just knock back some of the lines. Because this is sort of her face just sort of blends into the white background. Any little bits that you don't like, you can just nib these out. And that just tidies it up. So that's took the lines out on that, and just get rid of them ones. Cleans it right up and just gives it all that complete soft look now. Once you take them key lines, your little guidelines, you can now work over that with the airbrush, and your lines are gone, but you can see where you need to go. So back in, we're just going to bring this darker in here. Darken these up again. Letting this eye come down. Here. Little flicks. A little bit more on this one. Back in and just start working it. A bit more on the nose. A little bit darker. Back in on the lips. A little bit more here. Now we can just go back in on this ear. A little bit down here. Move over to this one. Hairline comes down. Just a little faint. Probably a little bit darker on this. comes in on that. A little bit darker on this crease. Coming up here. And a little bit round on this side, very lightly. Just put a bit of colour in. Just a little flick off up there. Roll these cheeks in a little bit more. Here, a little bit darker. Right, we can move on to the hair. I'm going to do a little pause and then we'll move on to the hair. Right guys, a little pause. Now, as you can see here, I've got the outer mask and I've just taped the outer mask on. So we can now work coming in on the hair, and we'll keep the outer of the piece of paper nice and clean. So working the hair, you look on the image here, you basically got to follow the shapes. So we'll start on the two outer pieces and you're sort of working in at this sort of angle here. So dagger strokes, and you want to be putting your paint on here, and as you're coming across to this piece you're just taking your paint off, and that will give you that nice softer transition coming in. Follow the shapes, do this side. Same thing, dagger stroke, starting on this side of the paper and working off, and just finish your trigger movement coming into the piece. Bit of tip dry, I can tell, and just hear the tone of the brush changing. Fade in here, this comes up here, a few more lines. Bit more here. I'm just puffing a little bit of paint in. And now we can start working on this part here. So you've got a light section that comes on this centre. So dagger stroke again, coming in. Like this, just do some passes, just dagger strokes. Just build the layers up. And you're just flicking the brush, so you're basically doing this into the piece of artwork from your stencil at the side. And then you literally just go the opposite way. You can hold this one up here and then do the opposite this side. Darken that out. And then the centre one, you can do the same. So you're just concentrating on this one now. So that's the same as this, but you're doing it the opposite way round. You've got a dark edge here, so I'd start in this dark section here and then feather it up. Flicking the brush. Same from the top. And then the same this side, you'd just hold a shield up this side, like that, and then you'd work that way and work that way. Let's move this one across. Follow the shapes, dagger strokes, starting from off the paper and working in. And don't worry if you're not absolutely mirror matching. I'm not mirror matching the hair, I'm just doing the way the shapes go. And I'm probably putting more strands in, or there's more strands that's on the actual piece of paper, but it will look like the image. bring this out a bit. So just dagger strokes, work from your dark out, because you can always start your brush off in that dark spot, because you know you're not sort of going to go any darker. Once this has gone to its full darkness, you can just work off that and you don't see where you're starting from if you are getting like a build up. Right, we'll move on to this centre section here. Now, you can work this way coming in. So just follow the shape of the hair, and you're going for small dagger strokes and just building it up. We come off that bit. And this is why I say in that other video, practice your dagger strokes so you can hit these fine lines like that. The beauty of hair working in transparent, you can just keep building it up. Get in there. Just take your time, build it up, build it up. Follow the shapes. I think hair's a really good one to practice for your dagger strokes. Little flick outs. A bit darker in here. Right, we can demask that bit, and if there's any sort of edges that need just sort of erasing away because the shield was just slightly off, we can just hit that with the eraser, knock them unwanted pencil lines out the way. We're about there, guys, not far off. Give it a little fuzz over that edge. Just to knock that back a bit. Take that sharpness out of that edge a bit. A little bit darker here. I'm going to go in a little bit more under here. On the top. A little bit on this edge. Around here. Bit of tip dry. Just fog over the eyebrows again. More bits in here. So I think this is a good practice one actually to do, because you've got a lot of techniques that you can use. You can do your soft shading as we came around the face. You've got your up close bits to get your eyebrows in. Dagger strokes on the hair, which is key. So it's a good practice panel to work on, guys, I think, this one. Some real fine lines. I think that is about there. A little bit of shading in here. A little bit more around the eyes, just darken them back a bit. And then to finish it off, we'll just do the highlights. On the eyes, that makes them pop. A little bit on the lip. Do a splodge on the nose and just smudge it. Puts a little highlight in there. Tiny bit in the lip there. It's the nice thing about Poscas, you can put these on, you can put the Posca paint on and just blend it into your piece. That'll do. We are all done. Right guys, there you go. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I hope I talked you through enough. I was just sort of cracking on. But as we worked out, you've seen how we started off, we projected it up. So I've shown you how to do the projection, nice and simple. Really recommend a projector because it's just a quick way of getting your bits across. And then we made the stencils, which was quite simple. And it just tightened up working around this bit for the hair. It just kept the overspray off the outer. Then once I got the hair in, on the image, it's not really sharp edge, so I just literally went in and just puffed a bit of paint just round the outside just to mist it out a bit and just soften that line up. We started off on the eyes, working in nice and light, backing off with your brush. If you want to get these real nice soft shades down, just literally back away with your brush, minimal trigger, back away and just very lightly puff a bit of paint in. It's all about going in light when you airbrush, build your layers up. As I said in the other video, a lot of beginners go dark too quick. They want to see that line instantly, and it's not about that. It's about building that line up and building them tones around it to give you them nice soft shapes in the face. So we got the image down. We've used stencils. I used FW Ink Sepia, which was really nice on that mix. It's gone down really well, so I've got a lot of that left, so I'm going to save that for another project. The brush, cannot fault it, absolutely cannot fault the new Evolution, guys, the CR Plus 2024. Brilliant, comfortable trigger to work with. This has probably been around an hour, might be a little bit longer, but it's just so nice to work with. Can get really fine detail down. These little bits on the earrings, these little lines are really tiny. Some of the hair strokes I got in here, the real fine, it just does it with ease, this brush. Not much tip dry. You probably see me have a bit of tip dry probably three or four times, and I reckon that's because I've got the heater on here and it's blowing warm air right across the picture. It's got warm air continuously blowing, so that's the reason why it was tip drying up. But other than that, cracking brush. I'll leave a link in the description to that. So hope you've enjoyed it and learned something along the way. Drop your comments, tell me your thoughts on the video, and if you're liking this style. I've got another one tomorrow. We've got Wedgie, which is this one here. We're going to do that one. So I'm going to do it in this tone again because I'm really liking this sepia look. Gives it that real nice vintage type look. So thanks for watching, guys. See you in tomorrow's video.